Welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Grizzly, and today we're going to continue to talk about the Ruby Franke Jodi Hildebrandt case. Especially because some of you have left comments on my case file that are telling me that my case file is not complete without the Ruby Franke journal. Now the thing is, I admit it, I avoided reading it out loud because I can't even finish reading it by myself. Okay, it is horrendous. But I will do my best because I know that many of you support the work that I do. Many of you will be here with me as we read through this horrendous journal. Can you imagine how incredibly painful it must be to hear what your own mother thinks about you and that it's the worst? She thinks you're a demon, a snake, a liar, that you're just, I don't know, all kinds of things that we're going to hear in the journal. So my hope is that Ruby Franke's children never watch this video and that they can heal from all of this. There's so much content, of course, now. You know, it's a very viral case right now. And pictures are flying around everywhere and information, the journal, of course, everything. And we've been talking about it too. I've tried my very best always to protect the victims, usually, and their families. In this case, not so much their parents. I don't know about that. So, you know, but I feel terrible for these children. So, with that being said, to the few snarky people in the comments of that case file, here you go. Let's read through that diary, the journal, together. Please know it's going to traumatize me, and please know it's going to traumatize you. You can't unhear it. You can't unsee it. Hearing and seeing what Ruby Franke thought about her children, thought of her children, her own flesh and blood, how she abused them, made them do wall sits, carry heavy boxes, stand in the corner, jump on a blazing hot trampoline, do manual labor out in the sun in Utah, saying they're demonic, all kinds of things. It's terrible, okay? But one thing I will agree with, and I did know it, is that the case file is not complete without this journal. And you know what? Maybe you didn't even know about this report. Probably not. It's 40 pages long. I'm only going to read you like 2.5 pages because it is a collection of all the officers' accounts of that day. Because many officers and paramedics responded to the scene when the brave 12-year-old boy escaped Jodi Hildebrandt's house through a window, is what they say, and ran to the neighbors' homes, okay? And thankfully, they were able to, not only were they home, that is great, they were home, they answered the door, especially after the second house he tried. It's reported that he tried 3 houses, but I've also heard there were only three completed houses in the area, which would be Jodi Hildebrandt and 2 others. And we saw 2 ring cam videos. So I can only plausibly speculate that, okay, well then he knocked on one neighbor's house and they didn't answer, and then he went to another neighbor's house and they did answer. Oh my goodness, the story, we're never going to forget it. Many of these true crime cases are horrifying, but this one, it's really bad. Okay, so let me first read you this report so that I can procrastinate just a little bit longer before I dive into that journal, okay?
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share.
Officer activity, it says that this is also just a recap for you in case you do need a recap. If you've never heard of this case before, please check out the link in the description box. There's a case file for you. There's a full playlist for you. And I would recommend checking out the case file because it's everything in as much chronological order as I could put it in, including all the jail calls. And please go listen to that. Go and listen to Jodi Hildebrandt's jail calls because it just tells you how dangerous she is, because she still to this day believes she didn't do anything wrong. She says, I didn't do anything wrong. I shouldn't be in here. Children can be evil. The devil can use children. in the way that she believes that he did. And so she abused him. And it's like, there's no remorse, there's no self-awareness, there's no acceptance. It's just a lot of mental illness and a whole lot of evil. I don't know how else to word it. Okay, so on August 30th of 2023, officers responded to a report of child abuse located in Ivins. So Ivins, Utah, right? The complainant reported a child 1 arrived at their residence emaciated with duct tape around his legs, thirsty and asking for help. They told the complainant he came from the neighbor's house belonging to Jodi Hildebrandt. Now, if you have access, because it's public, right? So if you find the entire FOIA file, which ironically doesn't include the police interviews or the 911 call, and I don't know why, make that all public then, you know what I mean? Otherwise, we have to try to get it from places to make a case file. The point is, if you have seen that, that FOIA file, and you've gone through those photos, they do include photos of when the duct tape was removed, and it is horrifying. It is graphic and horrifying, and those were very, very deep, open wounds. My goodness, from tying this little boy up, handcuffing him, and apparently hog tying him. I mean, it's just, and for hours and hours. So, child 1 told the complainant his mother's name was Ruby Franke, and he had 2 sisters who were back at the residence belonging to Jodi Hildebrandt. With this information, medical arrived and found child 1 to be in need of immediate care and transported him to the St. George Regional Hospital. I arrived at the hospital to speak with child 1. I made contact with Dr. Foster, who informed me that based on child 1's injuries and vitals, he was going to put a medical hold on him. I made contact with child 1 and observed deep lacerations on his ankles with several open wounds. Child 1 appeared to be malnourished, and I was able to see his bone structure. I mean, Ruby Franke, his own mother, put cayenne pepper and honey on those open wounds. Oh yes. I mean, one would think that's in her delusional mind a way to heal the wound, but they were very open wounds. Can you imagine how sore that was? Honey and cayenne pepper, and then saran wrap, plastic wrap, and then duct tape. Oh my goodness. I briefly spoke with child 1 to gather information for officer safety on the scene at Jodi Hildebrandt's residence. I learned that child 1 lives with his sisters, child 2 and mother, Ruby Franke. I wonder who that other sister was, because there was only one little girl there, the 9-year-old. So which other sister then was in and out, or where did she go, or what happened, you know what I mean? There were 2 teenagers at Pam's house and 2 adults that had moved out. So anyway, this poor little boy hadn't seen his sisters for over a month because he was locked apparently in the panic room. So they said, I learned child 1's been living at Jodi Hildebrandt's home since May, so May, June, July, August, 4 months, okay, around then, after moving down from Springville. So in Springville, Utah is where Ruby Franke and Kevin Franke had a home. When child 1 left the home today, he believed that both child 2 and were still in the home. Child 1 informed me he had not seen child 2 or in over a month, as they were kept separately in the home. Child 1 knew they were in the home as he had heard them. Oh my goodness. Child 1 informed me that the last time he saw child 2, she had short hair like him, brown hair and brown eyes, because Ruby Franke shaved her daughter's hair off in the dog wash, which you're going to hear from the diary. Child 1 informed me he liked to jump on the trampoline for fun, but that was the only thing he was allowed to do. And apparently they forced him to jump on it for hours in the blazing sun, which must have really been sore on his feet as well. They took lots of pictures of the trampoline. If you go revisit that case file that I made for you, you'll see there's a section that's timestamped called photo exhibits. You'll see that all there. Dr. Foster had already contacted CPS. I contacted local CPS worker to inform him of the case which just opened. I learned they had several other cases with this family up north which went unsupported as they were never able to talk with the family. Oh my goodness. They just never answered the door. And then that's it. They didn't have enough for a search warrant. All they could do was try. Oh my word. I contacted medical professionals at the Children's Justice Center who arrived at the hospital for an evaluation of child 1. At this time, I went to Jodi Hildebrandt's residence located at, and we've done that on the map time, right? In Ivins, Utah. Blueprints of the home were obtained from the home builder and used to review the 9,000 square foot home to make sure all rooms were accounted for, along with a concrete, safe, vaulted room. When the warrant for the residence was approved, I delegated responsibilities to the officers on the scene. All officers present were briefed on the warrant and what items we were looking for. All officers present in the home signed the warrant to acknowledge that they understood the property and evidence we were searching for. Officer B. Ray was assigned to photography, Detective Ward was assigned to evidence collection, along with Officer Muse. Officer Pondoyo and Officer Hall were tasked with searching for items of evidentiary value. Officer Palufo was in charge of managing the scene log. I had Officer Pikyavit sitting with Jodi Hildebrandt in the office of the residence. I had Officer Heinz sitting with Ruby Frankie in the attached casita. Sergeant Tobler was sitting with Child 2. Don't you think it would have been helpful if they had a service dog with them when they were rescuing Child 2, the 9-year-old girl? I feel like if children, don't want to talk at all, and this was like for almost 4 hours, I feel like introducing an animal could help, right? Maybe they'll talk to the animal. Maybe it'll comfort them as well. After approximately 4 hours, Child 2 agreed to medical treatment. Medical arrived and transported her to the St. George Regional Hospital for medical treatment. I learned Child 2 was also being held after medical professionals deemed her to be malnourished as well. In the search of the residence, officers located several rolls of duct tape, plastic wrap, used rope, cayenne pepper, and honey paste, described from victim Child 1. Used medical gauze and other documents describing the forms of discipline in the household. These items were photographed and gathered as evidence. During the investigation, we learnt of Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie's presence on social media and podcasts. In the home, several laptops were located, along with a room that appeared to be set up for filming purposes. They were still filming like podcast episodes. Normally that would be audio only. My little pet peeve, podcasts are supposed to be audio only. Okay, podcast episodes, they were recording those and filming videos for connections and having all these like group therapy sessions and all of that. Ruby Frankie became a life coach in the meantime. She was a life coach to people while she was doing this to her children. So yeah, the internet is not a safe place, and what you see is not always what you get. Because they were just like, hi, we want to help you. Meanwhile, Ruby's children are literally chained, bound, starved, and all kinds of things just in another room. Oh my word. Okay, so they said in the home, several laptops were located along with a room that appeared to be set up for filming purposes. With this information and reason to believe that these laptops and cell phones on the suspects could provide evidentiary value to the case, another warrant was drafted to collect these items. The warrant was approved, and Officer Pondoyo, that sounds like a very South African, African name, Pondoyo. I like that surname. Officer Pondoyo and Sergeant Holman were tasked to collect the electronic devices. In total, 5 laptops and 3 cell phones were recovered. I learned that the father of the children, Kevin Frankie, arrived at the Santa Clara Ivans Police Department. There was an interview that Kevin Frankie's attorney did, and he said, remember when Kevin Frankie in his police interview said he doesn't want to say who told him to come and fetch his kids or to go to the police station? It was Ruby. His lawyer disclosed that information on one of his online interviews, which is also, Kevin Frankie didn't want to address the media himself. He wanted his lawyer to. Okay, maybe that's a wise thing. Maybe it's a little sus. I don't know. You decide. Let me know. So they said, Officer Hall was sent to the department where he detained Mr. Frankie until we were able to come back and interview him about his involvement with his children, which was none at that point, neglect for over a year. I get that he could also be a victim of Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Frankie, but I'm like, dude, you're the dad. No one protected these children. Oh, man, it really upsets me. So when the search of the residence was completed, Ruby Frankie and Jodi Hildebrandt were detained and placed in handcuffs. Yeah, cuff them, not the children. You cuff these two forever. And yet their sentence is a minimum of 4 years and a maximum of 30. And the parole board is going to decide that. So I want these videos to be seen by the potential future parole board. I want them to see the case file. I want them especially to see this journal. Yeah, it's going to tell them a lot, because no matter what kind of freaking Oscars acceptance speech Ruby Frankie is doing at her sentencing, which was ridiculous. If you haven't seen that, we've covered it in a live stream and it's on the case file. Go check it out. if that her prosecutor, well, sorry, the prosecutor, not her prosecutor, the prosecutor believes that Ruby Franke's more remorseful, that she could maybe get out and not be a danger to society. I'm like, I hope she stays in for the maximum time. Okay, so I'm hoping that the parole board, can they see this? Are they allowed to? I don't know. Factor it in. Just think of all the things, okay? Because part of the plea deal was that the prosecutor will not, write letters to the parole board to say, I think you should keep her in for longer. That's not happening for Ruby Franke, because the deal was to plead guilty to 4 out of the 6 charges of aggravated child abuse. YouTube hates these words. They flag these videos like crazy. And by that, I mean suppress the reach, the age restricted. They do all sorts of things. So I'm very sorry if you can't see this video. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you can see it. So anyway, but please like and share so that others can learn this information too, because I'm just hoping it gets to a parole board, because that plea deal, pleading guilty to 4 out of the 6, 2 charges dropped, pleading guilty to 4, minimum time 4 years, maximum 30, but for Ruby, they're not going to, they're not going to try to convince the parole board to keep her longer. They might for Jodi. I think they should for Ruby as well. Okay, so Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were detained and placed in handcuffs, double locked and checked for fit. I performed a pat-down search of Ruby Franke prior to putting her in Officer Heinz's patrol vehicle, where she was then transported back to the Santa Clara Islands Police Department for questioning. I then performed a pat-down of Jodi Hildebrandt's person and placed her in my patrol vehicle. I transported Ms. Hildebrandt back to the Santa Clara Islands Police Department for questioning. Once back at the police department, I had Officer Heinz watching Ruby Franke. Yeah, in the downstairs interview room, Captain Rogers was watching Jodi Hildebrandt in the upstairs interview room, and Officer Hall was watching Kevin Franke in the upstairs conference room. So the rest of the document is like interviews and what the other officer said, and it's very similar information. So now I think I've procrastinated for long enough, and we're gonna tackle that journal together. Okay, Ruby Franke's journal, which I can only assume would be between, I think it actually starts with June, doesn't it? Wait, May. They got there around May. That's what the victim said, one of the victims. So she's like, timeline. Okay, she's literally writing down a timeline. Oh my word. I wonder if Jodi Hildebrandt knew that she was documenting all of this. Like all of the abuse and everything. Was that part of the plan? I don't know. So apparently in the Mormon faith, the journaling is very important, which is why Ruby Franke did it so much. But to actually document all the abuse that you're inflicting on your children, and then think that that's now like God's work or something, like, wow, very, very delusional. Okay, so timeline. 5/21/23. If you are in America, you know that you guys start with the month first, and then the day, and then the year. Everywhere else, pretty much, we start with the day, then the month, then the year. So if you're like me, sometimes I'm like, wait. So I'm like, January. So it's May. So the 21st of May of 2023. Jodi receives blessing from Temple President Steve Kaplan. Shame on you, sir. Okay, sorry about that. But all these people that actually recommended Jodi Hildebrandt as a church therapist, like sending the entire church and paying her large amounts of money to be a counselor for everyone. Oh my word, how many lives did she ruin? Okay, the 22nd of May, Ruby, AJ, R, and E, obviously it's redacted like this, come down to Jodi's to help spring clean. Is that what it was? Right. 28th of May, meet Jeremy Saggy? I don't know. The 13th of June, Jodi goes to SLC to meet with Jeremy and Brad Wilcox. 30th as well, R refuses to do wall sits. He says he is done. On the 1st of July, R to stay outside, sleep outside, only come in to use the bathroom and shower. Now, these redactions are done by the police department. I did not do it like this. I would like to see this entire sentence, of course, but they've redacted all of this. Okay, so I don't even know. Can you imagine what we're not seeing? Oh, my goodness. Okay, so E, that would be the 9-year-old, on the 14th of July, refuses to work, screams, has hair shaved off. Wow. Could they please shave off Ruby Frankie's hair now? Can they do that? I mean, she's in prison now. Shave that hair off. Come on. The 15th of July. R runs away around 1:15 a.m. Ruby finds him at 3:14 a.m. He has tried to run away before. Jodi, EJ, drive to Arizona to find property, land. Now look at all this. This whole page here is redacted. So is this one. Okay, so now we're getting to page 5 is also redacted. Page 6 is also redacted. Wow, what's on those pages, huh? July 9th of 2023, Sunday. Okay, R turns 12 tomorrow. So he was 11 when he got there. Oh, man. I never envisioned him being 12, still pooping or peeing himself. Yeah, that's what happens when you lock your child up for hours a day. And that's what happens when kids are traumatized. Satanic choices lead one to becoming destitute, even in the most affluential homes. Oh, okay. So even if they're in affluential homes, they become destitute because of satanic choices. Okay, prepare for snark because I can't help it. It's my only way to cope with this is to make commentary and snark. Okay, because this is too much. I'm on page 8. I got to page 25 and I'm like, can't do. So now we're going to do this together. You're in this with me, right? You better stay till the end. Don't go. Oh, my word. Okay. July 10th of 2023, Monday. It's R's birthday. He doesn't even know what month it is. E and R have been in so much deviant behavior, they won't control their bodily functions. They are both furious. Their selfish, sinful lifestyle is being intervened upon. I told R that he emulates a snake. He slithers and sneaks around looking for opportunities when no one is watching, and then he scurries. Didn't know snakes could scurry. Okay, then. If he wants to emulate the Savior, he needs to be 100% obedient with exactness. No wavering, no hiding. R lies. I mean, all the time. He's a compulsive liar. Just remember, none of this is true. None of this is true about the children. Okay, in my opinion, I don't know them, but like, this woman can go F herself. Okay, like seriously, how dare you project like this on children? Okay, hold me back. R lies, I mean, all the time. He's a compulsive liar. I would never have suspected. This entire experience is a shock to my system. No, it's a shock to their system. The ones you're abusing and starving with a kitchen full of food. Or, what I never would have suspected. Oh no, the cold, dead heart that R has. And then it says something, didn't know where to look. He's always been able to get what he wants, and now he can't. He's furious. Oh, you mean like food and water and like sleeping on a proper bed and maybe having some like childlike things like maybe pets or watching, I don't know, cartoons or having fun with friends. No? Yeah, okay. I told him if he divulged everything, he would automatically begin repenting. We heard that Jodi Hildebrandt's relative, niece, nibbling, non-binary word is nibbling. And so they said that that's what Jodi would do, is make you confess, but two things you didn't even do. Coerce you into confessing to the sins that you're committing and have committed. So here Ruby says, I told him if he divulged everything, he would automatically begin repenting. I asked if there was, and then it's redacted. I told R that he needs God. I invited him to fast and pray. R is in and out of possession. He is workable and calm for a bit, and then angry and defiant the next. Yeah, that's called survival instinct. He's trying to survive the situation, lady. The only consistent thing about R is that he lies. E is better behaved with Jodi. She likes to think that she can still manipulate me. I gave her a pixie haircut. All her long hair is gone. No more distracting with hair. Again, I say, off with her head. Okay, I mean, just shave. Buzz cut that biatch. Okay, I think you're going to see a little bit less. I'm trying so hard to hold myself back, but I mean like a little bit less restraint. I might even swear later. I don't know. Okay, she's like, all long hair is gone. No more distracting with hair. Off with her head. R told me he would rather have a glass of water than me as his mother. Okay, love that. Yeah, you tell her, R, you tell her. Imagine him saying that. I would rather have a glass of water than you as my mother. Love it. You snark it right up, R. And obviously he was very thirsty. He was completely dehydrated. Shame, man. Okay, on the 11th of July, Tuesday. Big day for evil. Big day for evil. Is that? I just have to look again. Is that literally? She wrote big day for evil. E manipulates me. She won't scream when Jodi's around, but with me she wails. Yeah, because you're shit scared of Jodi. Hello, Jodi's freaking terrifying. So is the mother, but obviously it's her mother. She's wailing around her mother because she's traumatized. But what does Ruby's pea brain calculate? All night, E screamed, cried, and would hit her head on the tile floor. That's a lot of trauma right there. Today, Jodi confronted her. E admits to putting on a show for her mother. E says she wants to be pitiful. Nah, that's Jodi cursing her again, threatening her, forcing her, saying, if you just confess to this, I'll make it stop, which it never did. R was told to stand in the sun with his sun hat. He is defiant. No, I told him a couple more times. R, or I should say, his demon, stays in the shade. I push R into the sun. R comes back. I come back with a cactus poker. When I poke his back to get in the sun, R doesn't even flinch. Can I poke her back with a cactus poker? I'd love to. I'd like to poke her back with anything flaming hot and sharp. Okay, sorry. Focus. Okay. I poke him in the neck. He's in a trance and doesn't appear to feel anything. He's dissociated, you idiot. Oh my word. Jodi tells him, what? Jodi? Oh, taps him on the cheeks to wake him up. The devil doesn't like when you get your subject to agree to the truth. Truth always with a capital T. R. Do you know I love you? Yes, ma'am. Do you know G. Joe loves you? Is it like, she might as well be G.I. freaking Joe. G.I. Joe. Real American hero. Jodi Hildebrandt's like, I'm G. Joe. Yeah, okay. We know you wear the pants. You can sit right down though. Do you know G. Joe loves you? Yes, ma'am. Do you know the Savior loves you? Yes, ma'am. Shame, man. He's like, sir, yes, sir, like boot camp. R wants out of his outcomes. After our talk, R stays in the shade. I take my old mop water and go to R. I show R the water. You know what my hope is? I hope that inmates at this prison watch this. If you know someone in that prison, just look up exactly where they are again. Yeah, send it to them. Send it to the prison. Yes, mail this to somebody. They need to know so they can pour old mop water and other things all over Ruby, Frankie, and Jodi Hildebrandt. Okay, so I take my old mop water and go to R. I show R the water. Then I pour the water on. R. Okay, it's hot outside. It feels good, doesn't it? Yes. An hour later, G. Joe takes R on a little walk to the pool. She talks on how R has love twisted. Oh yeah, he's the one with love twisted, you freaks. If R likes something someone does, he calls it love. If he doesn't, he thinks it's not loving. Because it isn't, you abusive freaking bitches. G. Joe then pushed R into the pool. R swam to the side. G. Joe pushed him out, or pulled him out. Feel good? Refreshing? Yes, ma'am. I went out a couple hours later and asked if he wanted the pool again. Yes, ma'am. Will you let me push you in? R laughed and then tried not to act too excited. R cooled off and went back to his spot. I put my hands on his face. Now, attempted murder alert. R, have you ever heard someone talk underwater? Yes, ma'am. Why is he saying ma'am as well? They're making him say yes, ma'am, not yes, mom or mommy or anything. Yes, ma'am. I know R is in there somewhere. I know deep down under all this anger you can hear me. It may sound like I'm underwater with you, but hear me, I love you. R got teary. Then I put my hand tightly over his nose and mouth. I'm coming to you in this water, putting my hands on you, your nose or mouth. The devil lies and says I'm hurting you, abusing you. But R, what am I really doing? The answer, you are putting oxygen on me to help me breathe. Yes, that's right. Okay, gaslighting to the max. Almost killing him, almost drowning him and being like, this is loving, isn't it? You like that? I love you, right? You know it. Like, oh my goodness. Okay. R looked like he wanted to beat me up this morning, and then he was intrigued and interested. And then 2 hours later, he drinks water from the hose. From the house? From the house. Steals water. So you're making them fast? You're starving them. But they can't even drink water? That's stealing. R is compulsive. He feels no remorse for his choices. And neither do you. Actually, he does probably. And it's not even his choices. He's feeling guilty and ashamed because you inflicted that on him. But you don't feel remorse, do you now? Ruby, Frankie, huh? Jodi Hildebrandt. And if they get out after 4 years, they're going to see this. Good. He shuts down and says he wants to go to jail. R says he worships the devil and has no interest in changing. I want the outcome of being changed, but I don't want to do the work that it requires. Yeah, right. Like an 11-year-old said that, or 12-year-old at this point. Doesn't actually know what jail means. He has no comprehension what throwing your life away means. Oh yeah, because you threw it away for him, right? Dumbass. He just wants the immediate gratification of sitting in an air-conditioned car ride to juvie. He wants stimulus. Okay. R is so back and forth. R stole water. He was angry and looked like he wanted to fist up. I would too in that situation, yeah. I put my hands on his shoulders and told him I love him. That's manipulation. I told him he has no idea what he's doing, but I do. Oh, you all-knowing being. I can help him. I told him, give your demon friend a message for me. I will not rest. I will not stop. I will not leave. I will fight him until the day you die. I highlighted that because I didn't say until the day it dies or he dies or she dies or whatever the frick she thinks the demon is. She says, I will not stop. I will not leave. I will fight him until the day you die. I have the power of God and he must obey. I beat Satan. I'm sure you beat Satan off, yes, at night in Jodi's room. Okay, sorry. Oh my. She says, I win. What did you win? This is not a race. You don't get a medal for this. Then I looked in R's eyes and with power and authority commanded, get out now, go. R immediately smiled, cried, slumped, softened. He's gone. He left. Shame, man. Of course, the child has to do that, right? To survive this crazy woman. I took E and R on a car drive to the, I think it says Shermit's gas station. I told E that she was never going home. Nice. What a nice thing to say to your 9-year-old daughter. I told E she was never going home. I showed her pictures of her on the swing under the big tree. She saw a girl who was hiding who enjoyed tricks. I told her I saw a daughter of God. Imagine that. If she said she sees a girl who's hiding who enjoyed tricks. Well, look what you did to her self-image. Well done. I told her I saw a daughter of God with divine worth. E manipulated during the car drive. R appeared to soften. I stopped the car and we all got out to view the sunset. I told E that she needs to stop her fantasy. She is not innocent. Right back at you, Ruby Frankie. You stop your fantasy because you are not innocent. And we all know it. And we would love to write to the parole board and make sure they understand. If the prosecutor can't put his finger on the pulse, we will. You stay in there for as long as possible and let's hope other inmates learn of this information. She can become innocent through repentance. Don't waste more time. R and E have been counting days. R did know yesterday was his birthday. E told me she figures they have been They've been there 8 weeks. I asked E if she felt like she had made progress over the last 8 weeks. Yes. And what does Ruby Frankie do? Her own daughter says, yes, I think I made progress. She says, I told her she was delusional. Shame, she can't even spell delusional. We'll help her because she needs to know how to spell that word because she is delusional. She has made no progress. She continues to lie and manipulate. Last night her screaming and trance head banging were evidence of no change. What a way to break a kid down. The 12th of July, 23, Wednesday. Took the kids on a 4-hour car ride. We stopped at, is that Gunlock Lake, I think, and I shared my love for them. I don't even want to know what that means. We watched I hope you kept clothes on, lady. We watched a baby cow get loose. Well, loose from what? Was the cow tied up? We watched a baby cow get loose and walk into the road in front of us. I made the analogy of the not-so-wise calf to them. I was keeping them safe when they want to run in the road. So when they want to run in front of cars to just like end their suffering, it's just like, no, I'm keeping you safe and tied up. Think of the actual analogy that she's using here. We drove up to Veo. I bought a volcano pie. Volcano pie. What is that? Okay, I think it's that like a mud pie, like a what do you call them? Like a chocolate. I think it's like a chocolate pie thing, isn't it? Anyway, I bought a volcano pie. I told the kids the pie was to thank Jijo for her home, care, and time. Oh, thank you so much for abusing us. What the hell is wrong with these people? Oh my word, everything. R appeared engaged. E was manipulative. This is the day that E anticipates breaking her 2-day fast. When we got home to Jijo, I let R know, I think it's E, know that she has hardened her heart and will do one more day of fasting to invite her to humble. Very sadistic. So you buy a volcano pie and then you let them smell that. And then you're like, you know what? You're going to do one more day of fasting so you can learn to be humble. I invite you to be humble. Flips out and begins ranting. She refuses to get up. She lives on the floor all day speaking dishonest chants. It's probably like, I can't even imagine what she was saying. I know what I would be chanting. Because Jijo is on the phone with clients, I don't go in and match her lead to aggression. I don't know what that says. Wait, let's just do it one more time. Because Jijo is on the phone with clients, I don't go in and match her lead of aggression. Her level. Match her level of aggression. All day, E makes rhymes about, my mom stars me and calls it fasting. My mom won't lift 2 fingers and bring me food because all she does is lie on the bed and eat brownies. I like these chants. Okay, you tell her, E. They were very aware of how wrong this was, huh? The kids. My mom says she's the most loving mom in the world, blah, blah, blah. If I can't ever go home, then what's the point in being obedient? I'm going to run away. Jijo helped me intervene after work. Then it says, pattern. Allowing lies to be spewed gives the devil a platform. Articulating lies reinforces possession. The longer the lies are allowed to be spewed, the larger the intervention and physical the intervention needs to be. I cut more off E's head. We doused her with water in the dog wash. E said she wanted to run away. Jodi told E she has no idea what is waiting for her. Now, is it just me or does that sound like a threat? Because I think it does. On the 13th of July of 23, I may have forgotten to write this. On the 11th, I took R's face in my hands and spoke to him. Through love you, I told him to send the demon a message for me. I will not give up. I will not leave. I'm going nowhere. Get out. R released the demon, and he has been very workable ever since. My goodness. This morning, the 13th, R broke his fast with brown rice, lentils, black beans, chicken, and water. A hornet kept buzzing around his chicken. I told R to think of the hornet as Satan. I mean, can the kid just eat a meal without you saying this kind of shit? I told R to think of the hornet as Satan. Would you become pals with Satan? I think so at that point rather than this one. Jeez. Would you, not to be friends with your mom, I just mean like he wants friends, he's all alone, he's isolated and abused. So those types of questions, do you really think it's going to work on him? Stupid ass Ruby. Would you become pals with Satan? Would you sell your soul or chicken to a hornet? Hey hornet, you want some chicken? I think the hornet wants some chicken. He will sting you in the end. Hope he stings her. R trapped the bee with his sun hat. E broke her fast with cheesy potatoes, steak, water, oatmeal, and water. R is full of piss and vinegar. Then it says she is mad as a hornet. Maybe it's still E. E. You know, sometimes they write R, but I think it's E. She is mad as a hornet and she doesn't call the shots. I think she does now. Oh my word. It's been about 90 minutes since R ate. I warned him that food would either energize him to truth or defiance. He's defiant again. He pooped his pants, telling me, no, his poop is too watery to be fasting. R admits to stealing water 3 times yesterday. R lies and feels no remorse. E is cheating. Oh my word. These selfish children who desire to only take, lie, and attack have zero understanding of God's love for them. They don't know Jijo is selling her home. This priceless, no, it's $5.3 million. It's not priceless, right? This priceless Snow Canyon gem, so she can purchase land where these two can work. Jijo has been looking for property with Sorrow's cactus and is feeling more imminent the need to get these kids to open land. She is willing to consider less than ideal property for them. Wow, she's so gracious. This is a spiritual matter. I can't in good faith leave you with these 2 gremlins. I won't do that. These are God's children. Sorrows don't matter when souls are on the line. Okay then. 1 hour later, we move quickly. Jodi and Jay are going on a road trip to look at property in Arizona. Ruby has some cash in the bank. Is she writing about herself in third person? Ruby has some cash in the bank. Okay. If the property is right, we can move on financing immediately. We decided the escalation of the kids is not manageable here. Now R is now sitting, angry or defiant. E is lying on the floor. We will bring them in. R, I will clean up out in the desert as he has pooped himself. He will then stand or sit on the patio shaded. Now I'll see him from the kitchen. E, I will bring into the cool house, and she can sit in the pantry. They will think they won. They will think they got what they wanted. They will relax. Then pop! Triple exclamation marks there. She's thinking, what? Who are you now? Are you now gangster? Pop! We will drop them like hot potatoes out in the desert. Their new home. You are going to get exactly what you asked for. Again, I hear threats. I hear life-threatening things being said here. That little boy saved his sister's life and his own life. And maybe other lives too. Oppositional force is required for growth, development, maturity. I hope she gets a lot of that in prison. I hope you get a lot of oppositional force. E and R have never experienced oppositional force. They are very weak-minded. Okay, we're on page 20, which now I have to rotate this. Okay, pattern. Sending evil away in a long time possessed person is not a one and done deal, usually. These wicked spirits in E&R have been pals long before this life. Oh, now they're pals. Is it Chad and Laurie? Who are these wicked little besties? My word. Okay, how E&R got to come and get a body can only be explained in me advocating to be their mother. This is not a conceited statement. God knew I would take my responsibility to mother seriously. Okay. Something, I can't read what that says. What the hell is this word? To help. Fear to help. I don't know what that says. These two souls are very weak of mind. They are fools, truly. Redacted said that she would choose the devil over God. What arrogant spew! God is patient not to split her with a bolt of lightning. Yeah, okay, in this context, God is so patient not to split freaking Ruby with a bolt of lightning. Do it now. What? Oh my goodness. Okay. You do not tempt a God who controls your very breath. The disdain and hatred they have for God is beyond my ability to describe. My spirit is offended. I shudder. I think it means shudder, but okay, shudder. Okay, to think I would never have seen this had I not pushed on them. Right. Okay, then it says holding, and then it says principle. Boundaries will show you how much possession a soul has. Oh, are boundaries such a bad thing that they're going to show you how much possession a soul has? No, boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are good. Traumatized children really struggle to set boundaries, and when people violate those boundaries, to actually inflict some consequences. And I don't mean like this. I mean like if you set a boundary, okay, and then somebody violates that, there needs to be a consequence, right? If you say, don't touch my stuff, like don't touch my pen box. I'm just going to use any little example like this. Don't touch this. These are very special to me. And if you do, you will never be able to use one again or something. I don't know. And then someone does it, there has to be consequences, right? Boundaries are healthy, I maintain, because I know lots of people in this community come from lots of trauma, okay? Work on your boundary setting always, and don't listen to crap like this that Ruby's saying. Boundaries will show you how much possession a soul has. Yeah, boundaries are usually for those who react very badly to them. If you set a boundary and someone reacts very badly to it, that's exactly why you have the boundary. Okay, if someone loves you, values you, respects you, they're going to be like, okay, it's no big deal to them when you have a boundary. Oh man, so it says the more boundaries, the more the soul will reveal itself. Trial will reveal a soul because of the inherent limits built into a tribulation. Sounding like a real dumbass there. Back to sending evil away. Articulating truth drives evil away. This is a powerful intervention for the possessed. Even if you can start by agreeing to something truthful. You are a daughter of God. True? Yes, ma'am. Principle. Following up on articulating a desire for evil to leave with a demonstration of obedience is powerful. Demonstrating a willingness to follow truth is a pattern. Okay, now I've got to flip it again. Okay. The Savior used in his interactions. Go sell all you have and follow me. Okay, do it, Ruby. Go sell all you have and then go follow. Go follow God. You're not doing that. You're living in a $5.3 million house at this point. Stupid hypocrite. Okay. Go sell all you have and follow me. Go sin no more. Go wash 7 times. Go tell no one. Go tell the city. Go preach my gospel. Go feed my sheep. If you can engage a weak-minded soul in a physical activity of obedience, you can begin to break the bond Satan made with the weak. Physically stop the acting out behaviors. Begin physically doing good. Farm work, lifting boxes, exerting energy, exercises, jump rope, milking cows, weeding a garden, digging trenches. Satan cannot be where there is good. Begin doing or sweating for good. We know you sweating it up for good while you're making your children do labor outside, aren't you? I don't know, man. My gut instinct is saying this was a very sexual relationship between Jodi Hildebrandt and Ruby Franke, and whenever they wanted to do the interventions. Someone actually said in the comments, instead of LDS, they just mixed it up a little. It was like LSD intervention. Sounds about right. But they are sweating for good. Heavy physical intensity. Capture your attention. The problem for E and R is that the hard labor is all, I don't know what the hell this is, all for the sake of lifting, does not have meaning or do good. We need property where a ranch can be built, good can be done, outcomes of prosperous choices can be seen, experienced, and felt. And the kids need a good kick from a horse and a cactus to run into. You, Ruby Frankie, need a good kick from a horse. Who's the horse in prison? Kick her! And also a cactus to run into. Yeah, face first. They need natural outcomes. Okay. I asked R what he was thinking about since he was sitting in the shade and had what he wanted. R answered, what I want. Me, what do you want? R, more different foods and a soft bed. Me, why don't you ask Satan? Do you think Satan will give you those things? No. Me, why not? Because he doesn't have the power. Me, why would you serve a God who has no power to give you your desires? Dumb. R, silent. And she double underlines that. She's like, bam, mic drop, mofo. That's right. In fact, if you had to really apply her stupid ass analogy, Satan's going to give you those things because it's all comforts and tempting things. More variety of food? You want things for the flesh? A soft bed? Satan will give you those. Okay, so anyway, Redacted had another episode with demons. She gives herself to them. She agreed to stop being deceptive with her facial expressions and crying and whining. Whining is the devil's voice. Whining is always a demon. No. Whining in this context, it's trauma. It's called trauma, pain, depression, anxiety, signs that a child's not happy, being abused, signs that you should be very careful now with their mental health because maybe they want to end their own life. Hello, dumbass on my word. Whining is always a demon. Hurt facial expressions blame me for her misery. It is you. It is all you. It is E at the center of her misery. Her face is deceptive. After E did stare, she sat on the park bench looking at the mountain views. She was told to sit and be still and eat her dinner. Carrots, hummus, grilled cheese, water. E, in a power play, brought her empty plate to the door. In a power play? Sorry, I do this because my ear gets hot when I'm angry. My ears go red and get hot when I'm angry, and then it gets sensitive. Okay. In a power play. A 9-year-old. Power playing. Oh, man. Wow. Okay, E woke up. This is now the 14th of July. I reminded her that if she whined, cried, or squinted her eyes at me, or soured her face, I would be buzzing her hair. If she's going to act sick, she can look sick. Right back at you, Ruby Frankie. And just remember, guys, I don't know, if you ever see her anywhere, just remember to make very whiny faces at her, okay? Okay, make lots of whiny faces at her. Okay, if she's going to act sick, she can look sick. She agreed with a smile. I told her because she didn't listen the night before, she would do 2 sets of boxes, stairs with a 5-minute break. She did the first set easily, agreeably. After 5 minutes of rest, she began whimpering. When she got to the bottom stairs, she slipped and dropped the box. I think she probably did slip. Okay, I put her in the dog wash and shaved her head. Nice. What a mother. Mother of the year. Then back to the boxes. I told E, I don't know, the rest is redacted there. Yes, ma'am, with tears. It's heavier than boxes, right? Yes, ma'am. Me, E, I can help you find relief. You have told so many lies about me that you refuse to be obedient. Why do you keep being buddies with Satan? E, I don't want to work. Me, don't you see it's because you follow Satan that you keep doing boxes? If you were humble, you would be inside making pancakes. With Jodi and me. Oh, wow. E agreed to sit on the park bench and think about her choices. I made it very clear if she were to move, get up, fidget, talk, take her hat off, she would go back to work. She agreed eagerly. She promised to be obedient. After an hour on the bench, she began moving and looking around. I pulled her into the house and gave her more boxes. Now to R. Me. You look like you like sleeping on the hard ground? I slept in a soft bed. Imagine saying that. Never mind, ever, but in the situation. You like sleeping on the hard ground? I slept in a soft bed. Or, I slept really well. Me. You are mean. Do you enjoy being mean? Or, yes, ma'am. This guy is such a boss. Me. Do you expect me to feed you? Yes. Me. I got, does it say big over him? I will feed R. I will not feed a demon. So I will check on you in a bit, and if you want food, then be prepared to tell the truth about your behaviors. Tell the truth of who I am. An hour later. Me. You ready? R. No, ma'am. Me. So you would rather have no food and worship the devil? And R says, yes, ma'am. Listen, I have a lot of respect for this little boy. Like, so much. You tell her. It's like, you'd rather have no food and worship the devil? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. E. Does first set of books decently. 10-minute break. E. Upset to do boxes. Gets them done. Sits on park bench. 1 minute, then picks G. Joe's blossom off plant. Defiant. More boxes. She refuses. Goes to sleep on basement floor. Okay then. And Kevin Frankie's still sitting there being like, well, whatever. Like, the eldest son was like, sleeping on a beanbag. We didn't care where he slept, but he chose a beanbag. He said, on the floor for all we care. Remember? I'm just saying, now the pattern is repeating here with Ruby. R. Stand up. Stop picking your nose. The kids both pick their noses until they bleed. Distraction. Me. You happy? R. No. Me. Following Satan doesn't make you happy. Shocker. So Satan can't feed you? Who's supposed to feed you? Okay. R. God. Me. And R. Christ. Me. This is a game you play. Who brings you food? R. You. Me. You want to leave the demons? Or, I don't want to humble. I wanted to give him dinner with chicken. He needs to acknowledge his behaviors. He tells me he is missing. He tells me he's missing his opportunity to repent. This is not acknowledging his behaviors. I tell R he is treating me and Gijo the way he believes he really deserves to be treated. Excuse me. He's treating me and Gijo the way he believes he really deserves to be treated. Oh, wow. So it's not self-awareness, it's projection. But I wish you could just look within. That's exactly what you're doing. You're treating the kids the way that you probably feel about yourself, but you can't deal with it. So now you just inflict it on them. Shame on you. So I bring him dinner of brown rice, beans, lentils, and water. He takes the bowl and begins eating. I say, no, thank you. Are you going to acknowledge the woman you've been abusing just brought you dinner? Wow. Okay. Or, well, I would say thank you, but I wouldn't really mean it. Just love this guy, my word. With that, I reached down and grabbed his dinner and water and said, wow, wow. Or tried going back on what he said with some explanation. I stopped him. I will not talk with a demon. Your soul is damned, and I will not hear your damnable words. Straight to bed. E has started walking stairs without a box. She is now slipping and falling on purpose. She's emaciated, she's malnourished, she's dehydrated. So, hello, that's probably why she's slipping on purpose. Oh my goodness, she's falling over, she's fainting. When E was outside today, it was hot. She acted like she was dying. So pitiful. I told her the heat in hell is much hotter and God is going to burn the wicked. So either get used to it or start changing. Okay, could they crank up the heat in that prison cell there? E, I don't really believe that's actually going to happen. Kids are all in bed. E ate mashed potatoes and Tokaya milk. Gijo and Jay are looking at RV trailers. These kids have no idea the sacrifices being made for them. Or Jesus' sacrifice already made. 15th of July, Saturday. We're on page 27 out of 60. There are days and nights that reveal God's most poignant mercies and miracles, Last night, God gave me a miracle I absolutely will never, ever forget. I know when God gives you an errand, you do the best you can to fulfill it. He will protect you. I went to bed around 12:10 a.m. E on the floor next to my bed. R on the patio outside my sliding glass window. Like she could literally sleep in a soft bed and the kids are one's on the floor and one's outside on the patio? Sure. Oh man, just writing this, I'm shaking. Shaking if Pam hadn't intervened to take A to American fork? What does that say? For her ACT test. Then I would not have been here, and my life and Jodi's and my family would forever be different. Well, I wish there was no intervention by the sounds of that. At 2:45 a.m., I woke straight up out of bed. Straight up. Couldn't see R. He was gone. I opened the sliding glass door, and there was no sign of him. He did leave an arrangement of rocks in letters, in words. He wrote me a message. Too scared, I forgot how to read. I ran to Jodi's room and woke her up. She came out with me. The message said in pebbles, jail. I will call when I get there. Jay and I scoured the house and yard. Jodi got flashlights. Jodi and took her car, and I got probably up and went in mine. Oh God, oh Father, we need a miracle. We need your help now. Send the hosts of heaven. Show us where he is. Please, please, Father, answer now. I've done everything you've asked. Protect me, protect Jodi, protect us, protect us. I heard in my head, go right. I went left. I'm just like, I heard in my head, go right. I went left and all the way to the roundabout on the main street to rule it out and make sure he hadn't reacted to the main road yet. He hadn't gotten to reacted? Reached. He hadn't reached the main road yet. Okay, so you're hearing apparently God's voice saying, go right. And she's like, I will go left first and just check that. Alrighty, disobedient. Better be punished for that. Okay, according to her analogy. Don't get me wrong. So, I went left and all the way. Yeah. Okay, No sign of R. I turned back to go down the dip and then turn right. Father, 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 hear me now. I go right. Well, I mean, you didn't listen to him. Then turn right again. This road doesn't look familiar. I speed up to cover as much road as I can. She could have ridden him over at this point. Racing the sun, racing the devil. Then I see R walking on the left side of the road. I call Jodi to let her know. I turn the car around and stop. I get out of the car. R is shocked to see me. Get in the car. You shocked to see me? R nods his head and gets in the back. R in front. R nods his head and gets in. Oh, so somebody else is in the back. Me and R in front. 2:45, I woke up. 3:05 or 8, I don't know. We leave in cars. 3:14 a.m., I called Jodi with R. The sun started lighting the roads just an hour and a half later. The devil wants me in prison. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. We're cheering him on. Go to prison for a very long time. My children dead. No, that's you that wants that. Okay, Ruby? I meet Jodi back home. We deliberate in the car while they go back to bed. R stands in the garage where we can see him. He has zero remorse, zero fear, zero expression. He's cold, calloused and hard. Angry, he isn't calling the shots. Jodi and I agree to buy ourselves time until we have more of an environment conducive to an intervention. That sounds scary, whatever they were planning next. We need land. The spirit told Jodi very clearly, don't let these kids' choices ruin your life. We have work to do. You can force repentance. Yeah, I don't think that's how that works. To de-escalate the situation, I brought R into the house. I had a rope. I tied a rope to my feet and him, to my waist and his. R will now sleep in a soft bed with me. Okay, that's pretty weird. Okay. Now we're reading beyond where I've ever read, We're on page 29, so wish us all luck. Okay. 7 a.m. R slept. The devil got a bed. No, the devil's already in the bed. Okay, that's Jodi. The one that you go there to sweat and repent with, or whatever they said there. Jodi taught exaggeration in class. Jay loaded the cooler. I put the kids in my car and took a drive. 8 a.m. A man came to look at Jodi's house. 8:30. Jodi and I meet at the gas station. E and J. Jodi take off to Tuscan. I drive back to the house with R. He comes in the house. He doesn't leave my sight. I feed him chicken, rice, lentils, beans, but add a glass of milk. He sits at the counter and eats. He got what he wanted. I gave him the book, some kind of characters, Theo Frastus characters. He gets a pen and his journal. He takes notes. To the onlooker, he appears to be a well-behaved, studious young man. And wouldn't I be thrilled? My son, who wanted to run away, is now by my side and reading and writing. Wouldn't I be relieved? No. I now know that in order to keep my son, I will need to put him back under sedation. What? I'll need to put him back under sedation? I unhooked him from all the bells and whistles and asked him to breathe and thrive on his own, and he went into arrest and stress. Back to sedation we go. Oh, you're drugging your kids now. Just like I speculated they drugged Kevin Frankie, seeing plates flying around. The demon is still here, and purposefully I put R back into a slumber. Hibernate. To watch R go into the awful state of compliance. And awful is A-W-E, so it's, I don't know. That's a weird way she spelled it, but okay. State of compliance. Knowing the demon now harbors in his heart is so sick. Like stitching up a patient, knowing you didn't get all the cancer out. All he was doing was sitting there like a good boy, writing in a journal. And you're like, I don't like it. That's it. We're sedating him out of nowhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, R and E do not want to repent. Oh, sorry. And knowing it is only a matter of time before your patient keels over. Yeah, literally. What? R and E do not want to repent. They hate God per their own behaviors and words. I now see how perfectly reasonable people walk around hating God and worshipping the devil, yet appear like good old souls or good old Joes. Good old Joes. Okay, good guys. There's a soul-killing infection in my child, and my hand is forced to not remove the infection. Yeah, you are the infection. Agency does not allow me to rid the infection. R and E like the infection. It's so sick. 8:18 p.m. Just over 12 hours after finding R, teaching class and leaving, Jodi sends me a text. I found the land. How romantic. The devil does not want us to take R and E out of society. He did not want Jodi finding this property. He wanted Jodi and I down at the police station at 8:18 p.m., not discovering a place to bring intervention to his entanglement of my children. Oh, how good the Lord is to those who risk everything to follow him and bring others to him. The hosts of heaven are on our side. Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. My children will never know the sacrifices our lives put on the line to offer a chance for their salvation. R can only think that he likes the taste of milk and reading again. July 16th of 2023. We're halfway through, guys. Last night, I tied myself to R. Full night of sleep, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. No interruptions. R showers while I watch. You freaking weirdo. I shower while R is in the closet. Ooh, I'm going to put up even more red flags right here. Oh no. What else did these people do? I shower while R is in the closet. I could see the closet door as I'm showering. R eats chicken, rice, beans, lentils with cheese on a corn tortilla. 3 sets of 10 push-ups. Reads Theophrastus or whatever that freaking book is. Jodi's on her way home. E spent the ride lying down with face facing the back of the seat. She doesn't know where they went or why. One might ask, as I myself have, what if we had taken the the slower? What if we had taken the slower? Would the children have been on board if we hadn't boundaried them so quickly and so clearly? What if, instead of a full day of box carrying, we would have done an hour and breaks and reading and then back to boxes? My answer is, well, yes, the kids would have complied, but they would not be repenting, and they would have given the impression that they were repenting. They needed things to get hard fast, intense, shocking change, immediate discomfort, stress to their systems. Why? Because they divulged their secrets. That's underlined. They could have confessed in truth, taking personal responsibility for the discomfort that they were causing. Yeah, this is psychologically unsurvivable for children. Never mind physically. In every way, but you know what I mean. Change the environment of the kids slowly and more reasonably or comfortably. We would have allowed the... Does it say dumb or what? We would have allowed the something, hypnosis and sleep to stay over the child. We needed to wake the child up to the state of reality. Oh, you want to shock them and abuse them? Sure, we get you. Show them where they really are, the pit of hell. Yeah, I think they know that. I think they're aware. The hope was that they would choose to go to God for forgiveness, to admit their awful state. Instead, they hid. They wanted to lie to themselves that what they did wasn't that bad, that they were the victims. They are the victims. That me and Jodi are the persecutors. Yeah, no, the devil woman. Like, wow. That burning in hell isn't real. That God is that mad, and that God doesn't even exist. They deny the power of God. I told R today that he is sedating his choices to do wickedly. I don't want that anymore. My response, yes, you do. You stood alone with only you and your choices, and you literally would stand it. You ran away. You refused to sit or stand with your choices. And now you are in the house with milk and a book, and you quite like it. Oh, with a milk AC, like air conditioning, and a book, and you quite like it, don't you? Yes, ma'am. If you really didn't want evil anymore, you would say, Mom, thanks for the book, but I want to do boxes today. Or I want to stand with my choices. Can they please make her do this every day in prison? Please. Forever. You wouldn't do that, will you? Or, no, ma'am. See? I want to make it clear to you. You have not made any shifting or change. You are damning your soul. R goes back to writing. Yes, ma'am. Weak-minded, undisciplined brat. Nice. Note to myself. Oh, my word. What are we going to read now? I never clearly saw the devil and wickedness until recently. Did you look in the mirror? Or did you look at Jodi while she was huffing and puffing on you? Sorry about that. Okay, because I didn't see evil clearly, I didn't combat him. I padded evil and placated wickedness. My love of God was sincere, but assumed others' love for God was sincere as well. I was deceived. July 23rd, 2003. She can't even write the year anymore. To begin a separation from evil toward God, all the darkness needs exposed to light. And once the lies and sin is revealed, the body must engage in good work. And the good work needs to be painful. I only laugh because it's not a laughing matter. It's just so, it's a coping mechanism. That's all I can do. It's just like, this is so ridiculous. That's all I can do. This thing has no power over anyone. What a spineless, parasitic, maggot biatch who should never have had children. Shame, those poor children, oh my goodness. So, The work needs to be painful. Otherwise, what is that? Like serviette? I don't know. Becomes another feel-good distraction. A day of fasting and prayer for me after learning my children have been spawns of Satan. Oh, man. A day of fasting and prayer for me. I can't believe that. I just have to read it again. After learning my children have been spawns of Satan. R has been out of control. P, poop, lie, steal, run away. E, crying, wailing. You could not know what this has been like unless you were here. Yeah, that's exactly what the victims say. Jodi and I took E out to the desert. She refused to stay quiet and would scream and scream. Jodi found a reservation cemetery. Again, it's that funny word there. Shivits or whatever, cemetery. She went out in the heat, barefoot. E still tried to run. She screamed for another family. Water, food, care, love. Ooh, that's absolutely heartbreaking. Oh, Eve, a manipulative play. You are loved and then redacted. After a couple of hours of screaming and speaking nonsense, Eve finally laid down in the road, quiet. We took her home. We took E and R out, and J the next day, E and R barefoot to increase the discomfort and decrease the running away. The task at hand was to weed the cemetery. Now remember, in that case file, there was a little video that I showed you there, and we looked at it before as well. I think it was a neighbor's ring cam, or a neighbor took that with it. I don't know if they took it with their phone or ring cam or what that was, but there's a video of one of the victims, little boy, walking barefoot in the cemetery. The task at hand was to weed the cemetery. Huge sagebrush. Does it say pokies? Pokies, thorns, broken glass, garbages overfull. We spent a couple hours filling black bags. Oh, you watched the kids do it, right? And Gijo's truck bed. The kids began to mellow out a bit. Yeah, they got exhausted and dehydrated. R looked for shade and cheating. We went out the next day and again today. 5 hours of weed pulling. R finally started getting the hang of it. This is getting easy. I feel I'm getting stronger. I want to pull the weed out of my heart. What am I doing with my life? I don't want to live like this anymore. All children need this experience of pulling obnoxious weeds, sweating in the sun, working while thirsty, and knowing what doing an anonymous act of service feels like. She didn't ever do that in her life. Everything for the camera. Huh? Family? Anyone uncomfortable? Come here. We got to film that. 8 passengers and a third wheel called Jodi. Yesterday, R was devious and put his head in the toilet. He said he was hot and wanted to cool off. Jodi and I reflected how disgusting and deviant that is. It's a problem that R has no problem being gross. It's called being desperate and trying to survive. A kid would not willingly put their head in the toilet unless it was that hot, which it was. Okay, page 35, July 25th, 2023, Tuesday. 7 to 8:30 a.m. Women's group. 8:30 a.m. Ruby takes ERJ to Shivit Cemetery. Each child is given a bag to pick up broken glass and weeds. We work for about 15 minutes. I don't think we work is including her. It's just watching, right? She's managing. We work for about 15 minutes, and a red vehicle with a woman, Indian, shows up. She sits and watches. She's like Indian, okay? Shows up. She sits and watches us for about 15 minutes. She saw something. She wants to say something. Taking pictures or video. I tell the kids to stay right by me and keep their faces from being pictured. We continue to pull weeds. The woman gets out of her vehicle and walks towards me. That's a brave lady. What are you doing here? You don't belong here. This isn't your land. You're trespassing. I tell her I'm weeding. She tells me, how would you feel if I came and poked around your cemetery? What are you stealing? Me, nothing. We are weeding, picking up trash. She wants to know what's in the bags. I say weeds and broken glass. You could see for yourself. She tells me to leave the bags and get off her land. It's not good enough for you. that you come and take our land. And now you want more. What you have isn't good enough? You have to come take our cemeteries too? What's wrong with you? You were not raised right. So much disrespect. Yeah. You were not raised right. So much disrespect. I told her, I do not mean any disrespect. I'm honoring your people. I'm offering. She would not let me get any words in. I collect my children and walk to the car. She yells at the kids that they will grow up to be just like their mother. White and full of privilege. Oh, shame. If only this lady knew the situation. Lady, read the room. Mind your own business. Get out. I'm filing a police report. Please do. But I feel like sometimes anger can blind people, you know what I mean? If you're feeling really angry and you're setting your boundaries, just also at the same time, just take a quick peripheral view and try to read the room. It's just my advice. In this situation, hindsight, what can we learn from this? There's kids in the blazing hot sun, barefoot, picking weeds, doing manual labor for these two aunties. Okay, so in South Africa, we would say these two aunties. Okay, I'm saying it like that. I'm from South Africa, right? It means these two women. These two women, yeah. Okay, I tell the kids to get into the car and she wants me to wait so she can get a good photo of us. The license plate, I don't think so. We drove off as she stumbles to get her camera app up. Oh, so it was that lady that took the video. This woman was projecting all her anger and aggression onto me. Like you do it to your kids, Ruby. She told me I was walking around acting like I owned the place, when that is what she was doing. Oh, it sounds like she did. She wasn't raised right. She was disrespectful. We leave and I talk to ENR about this woman, how she was attacking us with her distortion. Jodi's really brainwashed this one. A couple of days ago, we met a woman who thanked us for helping keep the graveyard clean. How freaking weird to take kids to a graveyard too. Like, let's go to the cemetery and you're going to clean up stuff, okay? Like, they are so dark. Oh my goodness. And now this woman tells us we are aggressive when really she's the aggressor. I told the kids it's exactly what they are doing. I'm helping them and they mock and reject. Oh my word. So now you're telling the kids that they're exactly like that lady? These poor kids, oh my goodness. They mock and reject my help. God sent me to help them repent and they turned me away. Well, turn the other cheek, as they say, Ruby. The kids seem a bit affected because they are so numb. I don't know how long it will hold. R is very emotional. E, not so much. I was just checking if it's unemotional, but it says emotional, but like emotional. I emotional. Emotional. E, not so much. She's seeing and hearing evil. I told her that she invited evil. It's her charge. No? It's her change or change to now send them away. I think it says it's her charge to now send them away. You created this, E. The good news is because you created this, you can destroy this. Send them away. Wow. August 1st of 2023, Tuesday. Jodi went to Tuscan today to look at property of 500 acres. E and R are both defiant and unwilling to soften. This week perpetually screamed outside. Jodi and I accommodated her and took her to Hellhole Road, which you could also see on the map time there. It's just northeast of Jodi's house. Yes, there is such a road on your way to Las Vegas, okay? She was to run on the dirt road. She ran for a bit and then started manipulating. I told her to run up an incline on a hillside, touch a tree and return 100 yards max. She threw herself into a tree. Jodi pulled her out, breaking her flip-flops. After an hour of E jumping in bushes, we get in the truck to find a cactus. Oh no, where's this going? Remember, we're doing this together. I have not read this because I couldn't make it this far, and I'm only making it this far because you're with me. Okay, so thank you for being with me. I'm assuming E walked right up to the cactus and threw herself into the middle of it. It was unhuman. She acted like it didn't hurt at all. She cuddled right in. I watched her press her foot against a cactus. A cactus what? Ear. I watched with my mouth open. She is so numb. I can't even, guys. After being cozy with a cactus, yeah, she'd rather have love from a cactus than you. Read the room, Ruby. E got up and spoke with Jodi for about 10 minutes. Jodi and E walked to the truck and I rolled down the window. E said, "May I have permission to speak?" "Yes." "Can I have another chance at running the hill?" "Yes." I don't know what Jodi said to her in that time. My word. We got in the truck, drive to the hill. E gets out, comes to my window. "Mother." Oh, she didn't say ma'am this time. "Mother, what would you like me to do?" I instructed her to run to the dead tree and then come back. E replied, "I would rather jump into a cactus." Yeah, you tell her. What evil, what deception. This girl would choose to be shot and die than to be humble and do what she's told. There's no pain point where she will turn. The next day, July 30th, Sunday, we put E in the closet to contemplate what to do. She screams much of the day. She doesn't get water. If she screams, she refuses to eat. July 31st, Monday. Jodi wakes up from a dream. How do you know? I thought she had a different room. See? Busted! God lets her know we have done everything we can to get E attention. Lord, look how small she writes that. Don't continue these physical interventions. They will only bring resentment. E is angry about her feet. Dress her wounds and leave her to me. Oh my word. This intervention gives the opportunity for E to soften and see that we aren't hurting her. Jodi cleansed her heels. Oh my word, the hydrogen peroxide didn't sting. You know how stingy that would be. Especially if it's open wounds or anything like that. The hydrogen peroxide didn't sting. E is numb to it. These kids are dissociating. This is hectic trauma. The spirit was very strong as Julie and I witnessed Jodi cleaning what didn't deserve to be cleaned. After dressing the wounds, Jodi carried her back to the closet. E did scream and sulk and ask for water. I gave her lunch, leftovers, over several meals she wouldn't eat, and she finally ate. I gave her water and then the scriptures. This is the first opportunity to have reading material since coming to Jodi's. Me, when you see God, He will judge you out of these books. Did you honor your mother? No. Did you keep His commandments? No. Did you repent? No. You are in big trouble. You better get really familiar with what's in here. R's feet are swollen from standing. He's angry. Nobody cares. I told him he's acting like a man having a heart attack and gets his feelings hurt because nobody cares about the sliver in his finger. When your soul is dying, nobody cares about your feet. Okay then, but it's so weird how she says he's acting like a man having a heart attack. And what do you do if you see a man having a heart attack, Ruby? Okay, these two women, it sounds like they hate men and they hate children. And they love each other. August 2nd of 2023, Wednesday. Jodi and are still away. E is distracted by being in the house, getting socks, being held and carried and out of the elements. She reads her Bible. She ate her beans and rice and chicken. She's quiet. R sat outside yesterday and didn't manipulate. I asked R why he didn't manipulate yesterday. He said because he wanted to change. I said, no, that's not true. You didn't manipulate because you weren't uncomfortable. You weren't hot. Today, Redacted is standing outside on the patio by the room. It's raining. The rain is doing what? R washing what it touches. The rocks. Me, yes. You desecrated these rocks and the rain is cleaning them. Let it clean you too. Redacted pooped himself. He's angry. Yes. R rage comes out as he can't have what he wants, which is to serve the devil, aka have no responsibility, and have me, mom, tout on him, coddle him. He wants both. Feed me, hug me, be tender with me, shower me in praise and affection, and let me lie to you, abuse you. Today he raged for hours. F you. He's like, F you, at least 50 times. Respect. I'm not going to lie anymore. I'm never going to change. Take me to jail where I belong. August 7th of 2023. Redacted will come start will come, start fixing the basement so Jodi can sell her home. This is great news. Only redacted is yelling obscenities. Jodi asked E and R, what and obscenities. Jodi asked, Jodi asked, it's all slanted now. What are you going to say when you see God? There we go. F you. R answered, sure. Redacted, cancelled. This gave us a full day for, at the end of the day, he was docile, compliant. Is that sedation? What are they doing? E cried today, compliant. August 8th of 2023, we're on page 41. Redacted is very defiant. I found his fingers poopy. He keeps pooping or peeing his pants. Within 5 minutes of him going to the bathroom, he went in his pants and tried hiding it from me. Later, the spirit told me to ask him some questions. I asked them from an assumption position. What a great place to ask questions from. Assume the worst, right? Oh my word. Mom to R, you keep saying you are unwilling to do uncomfortable things, but I watch you continuously do uncomfortable things the devil tells you to do. You would rather be uncomfortable than be obedient. This isn't really about being uncomfortable. This is about adamantly refusing obedience. You would rather be uncomfortable rather than obedient? Is that true? Yes, ma'am. Mom to R, when did you sell your soul to the devil? R, 2 or 3? Mom, did he come to you or you to him? R, he came to me. Mom, and what is he giving you in exchange for your soul? Money, fame, strength, a person? R, nothing. I tell R, can still keep his soul. He can have a life. Something to stay here. I told him to think, to be obedient to a devil who offers nothing in exchange for everything. R becomes aggressive and destructive. He started banging and hitting doors. I went in and kicked him. Knock this off. R continues to be destructive and violent. I put on a pair of boots. I'm shocked, you guys. She went in and kicked him. She decides he continues to be destructive, and then it says, I put on a pair of boots. I went and kicked him again. You want me to stop? What are you getting from Satan when he tells you to kick the door? Nothing. What does this word say? Is it like, huh? Nothing but more pain. You want me to help you? Yes? No? You want me to feed you? R says, yes. Ruby, no. You want me to shower and provide for you? Yes. Ruby, no. You want to serve the devil and fight me and destroy all that I provide and then expect me to give to you? Go ask the devil to help you. Go ask the devil to feed you. I left. R was quiet, contained in the closet. I did leave him yelling, I got that you're rageful. I got that you're angry. You should be. But you've got to aim that anger in the correct direction. You keep aiming it at me. I'm trying to help you get your life back. Get angry and denounce Satan. When I left, R was quiet for a bit and then started calling Satan a big lying piece of baloney. He continued raging and yelling and crying. I believed you, and what do you give me? Nothing but pain. You lie. I believed you. I admit it. I've been a fool to follow you, but no more. It's not too late. I can turn my life around. Get lost. Get lost. I can get my life back through obedience. Shame that is a coping mechanism. Just to say all the things his mother wants to hear so that you can just stop this crap. Is this sincere? His actions will show. R is manipulating his hand. Wet his pants. Ruby to R, you cannot manipulate your way out of pain. The only way out of pain is to humble yourself. You need to pray and show God how you have desecrated your precious body. Oh, no, that's you, Ruby. Oh, my word. This is 10 out of 10 terrible. How you misuse your body. Beg him to help you. I've been such a fool. I don't want to make these choices anymore. Please hear me, God. I won't live this way anymore. My life is crappy. It doesn't have to be this way. Obedience is the way. I've desecrated my soul. I know I can change. I still have a chance. My chance is getting smaller and smaller. I'm not going to choose this anymore. I'm not going to make myself a fool anymore. I've made myself such a fool. I believed all those lies, and all they bring me is pain. God, I made my choice. I've chosen to be so idiotic. I've been so aggressive, so vile, so mean. God, please hear me. This is her writing this crap. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. She probably wrote that down for him to read. August 10th, 2023. Okay. Almost. I mean, the fact that he was so calm on that ring cam footage is astounding. So calm, ringing the doorbell, being patient, like, hey, can you do me a favor and take me to the nearest police station? Jodi and Jay are still in Arizona. They should be back tonight. I'm watching R in the closet, E on the back patio. It's warm outside and raining. I told R the rain is cleaning the rocks from dirt and R from pee. I told her to feel the rain clean her. I told her she can be as clean as she wants to be. I checked on R and asked what he was thinking about. How my choices have led me here? Me. R, did you know you were in a dark pit of despair? R, what do you mean? She writes, chilling. E, stood in the rain for 2 hours. Okay, lots of redacted pages here. My goodness, okay. We're now getting to page, this is 49. And now we're on page 50. Okay. August 15th of 2023, Tuesday. For the human who is not humble, today this constitutes the vast majority. You have to get your breaking point. R never would have disclosed his sins had he not had a hope that confessing would bring a sense of relief. His motive, because he was or is not humble, was to feel better, because all his distractions were taken away, and any belief he was getting them back was banished. We were consistent. We followed through. R was left with only one outlet to find relief. Confession. Okay, now I need water. Okay, I think I'm back. I've got 10 pages to go. My voice is almost finished off here. Okay, so the world we live in today does not support children being uncomfortable. They, the adults, are uncomfortable with children being uncomfortable. And so children are comforted, entertained, distracted from the need to confess and change. Stripping down a child's world to the basics of beans and rice and hard work would be considered abuse. Yes, it would be. And it's not. Says who? It's necessary for the prideful child. Okay, then you do it yourself first. Now that R has his behaviors out, all of them, he feels like a failure, a monster, useless, worthless. The relief he felt in confession was short-lived, and now there is no shame to hide. So he becomes overtly aggressive, destructive, and combative. Foul language I've never heard is now pouring out. It's his only distraction. Poop, pee, damage. The despair comes in. He's weak, infectious, hopeless, and never felt worse. A setup from the devil. Now is the work. It has been 3 months of consistent boundaries and putting up with his terrorizing to get his confessions out. Who would do this in the real world? No one but child abusers like you. I don't know of anyone who would feed their kid in America beans, lentils, rice, and chicken for 3 straight months and refuse all distractions. And this is why Americans are so full of sin and ready for destruction. They won't repent. August 16th of 2023. Day 2 of R jumping on a mini trampoline. He needs lots of help with balance and coordination. Today I asked him to take off one sock by balancing on the opposite foot. Lift one foot up and remove the sock while staying balanced. He fell over, hit his nose on the ground, and began bleeding. I gave him a wet rag to wipe his face and toilet paper. He dabbed his face merely to smear the blood. Then he blew his nose so harshly through the toilet paper he got new blood on his face and all over his shirt. The easiest exercises he is asked to do, he refuses with the decrepit stature that you would expect of a 90-year-old. He plays completely helpless. His body is full of evil, puffy, infection, and he won't participate in the responsibility of flushing it out. R's life's meaning and purpose has been don't get caught. And now that he's caught, he wants to be done with life. He feels it has no meaning. August 21st of 2023. Poking is a strategy or technique. R seems to respond to poking, pouring cold water, and a towel whip. Please send that to the inmates at the prison. Yeah. Does Ruby respond to poking, pouring cold water, and a towel whip? August 22nd, 2023. First day, R soaked, jumped as told. He did wet his pants twice. That's called trauma. A trauma response. Freaking Ruby, on my word. God pelted hail from the heavens. He's poking R as well. R stayed jumping. Hail in August in St. George is a mystery. A heavenly validation of this intervention. Or a sign that you're about to be arrested. Oh wow, okay, the rest is just blank. Did we make it to the end of this? It's not really 60 pages? Oh my word, is that it? No, there's one more. Okay. August 27th of 2023, Sunday. Redacted visited for a week last week. I picked her up last Sunday, the 20th, and took her home to Springville on Friday. Redacted, Pam and I packed 20 boxes and took them for a storage shed in Springville. A gave her 2 weeks' notice. Redacted, I think R, spent the 22nd to the 25th peeing and pooping. He's out of control. He's defiant, abusive, and mean. He refuses to do what he's asked. Just when I think we found a technique that'll work, R digs in and fights harder. Willing to try anything that would grab his attention. I whipped him with a belt yesterday. Okay, so now you're kicking him, then putting on boots, kicking him some more. You're starving him. You're putting the cayenne pepper and honey and hydrogen peroxide and handcuffs and rope, starving them. But then also, and abusing them mentally in every single way. But then on top of that, you're also doing what now? You whipped him with a belt? Domestic violence. E2, she peed all over Jodi's garage floor. Screamed at her and lied to her. She's out of control. Oh, these children were so severely abused. It's not even... It should never be a question in anyone's mind. I don't think it is, but they were severely abused. Imagine the fear. E2, she peed all over Jodi's garage floor. E seemed to give me her attention after the whipping. She suspected the garage. She what? She something. The garage was some muscle and mopped it. I don't know what this word is. She what? If you know, let me know. She did a good job. R increased his defiance. Last page. Okay. Sort of got my voice back. Tuesday morning. It's Wednesday afternoon. San Diego, taught New Jersey, Institute of Technology, University of Washington, Dean of Computing College. Don't know what's going on. Send one essay for each girl. And Venmo. I don't know what this is all about, but wow, we made it to the end of this document. This abuse happened in plain sight. There were people that saw something and said something. There were people all along the way that were like, concerned. Ruby's eldest daughter, when Ruby was arrested, and Jodi Hildebrandt, said, finally, we've been trying to reach out to the police and CPS for years. So, always, if you see something, say something. I would add, follow up. I think they did. I'm not saying no one followed up. But follow up. Hound them. Do something if you think it's something serious like this, because you just never know. This is unbelievable. And then, on top of that, to think about Ruby's little speech at her sentencing. Wow. Okay, now your homework is to go to the case file, go to the jail calls, and listen to Jodi Hildebrandt's jail call. I don't even know who this Ryan is that she's talking to, but she has no remorse for any of this. She thinks what she did was the right thing. She's excited about getting out of prison and believes she'll have a story to tell, that this is all part of God's plan. And that children, she still says, are full of evil. She needs to be kept away from children for the rest of her life. I hope she stays in there for 30 years. I wish it could be more. Same for Ruby. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.